Luxurious cars, private jets, and much more are what people of high caliber travel with. But for someone like Vladimir Putin, all these aren't enough for his trips. The president loves to travel secretly, without any trace, and has equipped himself with the most unique and secured automobiles and vessels you can ever think of. From bulletproof cars to armored trains, let's take a look at how he keeps his travel life discreet. Aircraft collection. Starting off with his aircraft collection, when traveling by air, he has 4 aircraft at his disposal. But there is a special one that he frequently uses, which is called the Russian presidential aircraft. The aircraft is operated by one of the oldest and largest air carriers in the Russian Federation, Russia Airlines. The airline is the official carrier of Zenit St. Petersburg Football Club. Since Putin frequently travels by air, it is expected that he enjoys comfort while traveling in style. That's why it is not surprising that his specialized aircraft, the Ilyushin IL-96-300PU, is said to be worth approximately $500 million. If you are wondering what the PU that ends the name of the aircraft stands for, it stands for Command Point in Russian. The aircraft is a 4-engined, long-range, wide-body aircraft with tremendous capabilities. Some may even say that it is a highly modified Ilyushin IL-96. It's not like anyone was expecting Putin to ride a regular aircraft, but the extensive modifications that were made to make sure the aircraft delivers in style and also doesn't compromise the president's safety will leave you speechless. The modifications include advanced communication systems and enhanced security that delivers laser anti-missile protection. Some of the other security measures that have been put in place are the 68 fighters that are covered by the Russian Aerospace Forces Special Squad. It also has its own jamming and disorienting radars and an anti-aircraft defense system. There is also a coating that makes it less visible to radar, just in case anyone wants to try some funny business. Even after all these installations, they still take their security one step further by preparing all 4 aircraft the president has at his disposal, and at the point of takeoff, that's when the president decides on which aircraft he will be flying. The remaining 3 then follow as reserves for the president and act as decoys. Talk about tight security. This aircraft has also been referred to as the Flying Kremlin over time. It is what Air Force One means to the American president. The exterior of the aircraft stands out among others, and you can easily recognize it because it is customized with the coat of arms of Russia or the presidential standard on the empennage. Of course, the interior of the aircraft won't fall short on standard, quality, comfort, or style. The interior received special attention from the president himself, as he had personally inspected it during his tenure as the country's prime minister. The interior of the aircraft is said to be inspired by Russian art, which I'm sure would give it a classic feel. Not only that, but the amenities in the aircraft make the president feel at home away from home. The Flying Kremlin has a master bedroom that provides the utmost comfort for the president. The bedding is king-sized and the room is fitted with exquisite furnishings. That's far from all. It also has a gold-plated toilet, and most of the interiors on board also have gold trim on them. I'm guessing it's impossible to separate the elites from their love of gold. The aircraft is so spacious, and it has amenities like a gym, which is not surprising since the president is said to be a big fan of exercising. The Flying Kremlin has a kitchen and a conference room. He sure doesn't joke with his meetings. The conference room is equipped with leather chairs of high quality that provide comfort, and there is also gold trim attached to the chairs. I'm sure they went through all this stress to make his meetings worth it, among many other amenities. For his air journeys, private jets are not the only mode of transportation available to him. He also uses helicopters. You know, helicopters are flexible and can be used to visit terrain that can't house aircraft. The helicopter collection he has access to includes a series of Mi-8 MTPRs. The helicopter is a medium twin-turbine helicopter, originally designed by the Soviet Union in the 1960s and introduced into the Soviet Air Force in 1968. It is now produced in Russia, so it isn't surprising that there are several at the president's disposal. The Mi-8 MTPR is one of the most produced helicopters in the world. It has the capacity to accommodate 3 crew members, the pilot, co-pilot, and flight engineer. It can also hold up to 24 passengers, or 12 stretchers, and seat 1 medical attendant, or 4,000 kilograms, on internal-external hardpoints. It has a maximum speed of 250 kilometers per hour and a cruising speed of 240 kilometers per hour. Some of the ammunition that can be found aboard the helicopter is ammunition for 57mm S-5 rockets, 6 UV-3257 rocket pods, 250 kilogram bombs, or 4 AT-2 Swatter ATGMs, armed export version, fitted with 6 launch rails to carry and fire Malyukta missiles. Some of them owned by Putin and the country were shot down in an incident that occurred in 2023. The president was said to have lost 6 of his Mi-8 MTPRs and a plane during this incident. Putin's Air Force is said to hold the largest number of airplanes and helicopters, totaling 68 and 64 respectively. For someone of his caliber, traveling in style isn't limited to his aircraft. On land, he has an extensive motorcade he can rely on, which brings us to his car collection. One thing that I know is constant in all his choices is his exquisite taste. It is little wonder that he has a couple of interesting cars in his garage. One of the standouts in his collection is the presidential state car, also known as the Arus Senat. The limousine was specially designed by Nami, and they went all out to equip the car with many defensive and offensive measures, and also life-saving measures that align with the standards of the Federal Protective Service. Putin is said to have been closely involved in the limo's development, test driving some of the prototypes. The company's intent was to start a minivan, SUV, and smaller sedan using the big vehicle's engineering as a foundation. A total of 5,000 units would be produced for each of these variations. The majority would go to Russian security agencies and government offices, because, it is only rational for the presidential convoy to include such cars. A few would also reportedly be available to ultra-wealthy Russian consumers, which is expected considering the price tag on the car. Looking at the civilian version of the Senat, the presidential car would cost thousands of dollars. The civilian version was said to be going for approximately $300,000, which is expected, since the likes of Porsche and Bosch Engineering are reported to have been involved with the development of the engine. Of course, the presidential car would be tailored to meet some specifications. His own model can withstand sniper fire and chemical gas attacks, and is also equipped with communication systems, making it a command center on wheels. It is equipped with armored walls, night vision cameras, and auto-tightening seatbelts. Fancy and safe. The presidential car is bulletproof and bomb-proof, providing the president with the utmost security. It has also been tailored to provide comfort for Putin. It has leather seats that seem very comfortable, and the car also has a wide door that makes getting in and out of the car very easy. In the back, 2 of the 4 seats are retractable, and for added security, even when the window coverings are drawn, passengers can still view real-time CCTV footage of what is happening outside the car on internal screens. Additionally, the back of the vehicle has an emergency exit. I think he trusts in the security of this car so much that even when he is traveling outside the country, the car goes with him as well. During his visit to Qasr al-Watan, he was seen arriving in his limo. Having looked at Putin's presidential car, you can see the taste of the person we are dealing with. So the next rare series of cars you'll be seeing won't catch you by surprise. Although he gets driven most of the time, there are times when he just takes one of his unique rides for a spin. First on the list is his ZAZ 968. This car has lots of sentimental value to him. It was a gift from his mother after she won it in a lottery. The car was also the first car he ever rode. Unfortunately, he had to let go of it sometime, but he was reunited with it after he was capable of making that happen. The car has also seen the likes of President Bush take a tour of it. The next on the list is the GAZ-21. This car is a Soviet car, just like the ZAZ 968. In 2005, he purchased this rare machine, and not long after, precisely in 2006, at the meeting between Bush and Putin, Bush rode in this car, with Putin's guidance, of course. Another car that can be seen in his garage is the Lada Niva 4x4. The Lada Niva has a price tag of $25,000. He is said to have purchased the car in 2009, despite the financial crisis, in order to support domestic automakers. He speaks highly of the car, and has said that it is 100% capable of passing where a Mercedes can't. Funnily enough, his next car in his collection is the Mercedes ML. Despite favoring domestically produced vehicles, Putin rarely rejects the opportunity to test drive a foreign vehicle. I'm guessing he is also a fan of German cars, seeing that he has one, and that his previous presidential car was a Mercedes. The cost of this German machine is said to be about $46,000. Next on the list is the Yo Mobile prototype, which is probably the cheapest car ever sold. The car was given to the Russian government for €1. Although the car never saw the light of day, it was a planned series-type hybrid electric car that Putin got to take a ride in in before it was scrapped. Who knows? One may be parked in his garage. The next car in his collection is the Lada Vesta sedan. The Russian-built car is said to cost around $11,000. At the time of its purchase, he took a spin in the ride to get a feel for how it moves, after which he said it was a very good car with good throttle response. It's safe to say he was impressed with it. The very rare Gazelle limousine is the next on the list. The car is estimated to cost $160,000, and as only one of them was ever made, the price is understandable. This was specifically made for the Russian president. The model was produced by two divisions, the Depot ZIL and the AMO ZIL. Apart from all these cars, there are also the likes of the Formula One car that he has taken a spin in. And let's just say he wasn't so pleased with the space in the race car. He compared the space with that of his first car, the ZAZ 968, saying, "Even in my Zaporozhets, I had more space." We've explored the vehicles he uses to travel. It is only right to check out some of his means of transportation on water and even underwater. Yes, you heard that right. Yacht collection. Not that you were expecting anything less, but his collection is exquisite and provides comfort in style. For starters, he has been linked with different yachts. For one, he is said to be the owner of the yacht Graceful. The yacht, which is presently known as Kosatka, or Killer Whale in English, has a length of 81.5 meters and can accommodate 12 guests in its 6 suites, comprising 2 VIP cabins, 1 master suite, 3 doubles, and 2 pullmans. Also, it has the capacity to accommodate a crew of 25 people. Just like the aircraft, this also has exquisite finishing that befits a king. The interior of the yacht oozes so much class, almost as though simplicity and elegance were in mind when creating it. Since it is for His Excellency, it isn't surprising that it has amenities such as a helipad, a beauty salon, an elevator, a gym, air conditioning, a guest elevator, and of course, the most interesting part, the swimming pool. The swimming pool switches up its look and can transform into a theater and dance floor. It is no wonder that the yacht cost a whopping $119 million. The Killer Whale isn't the only yacht he has access to. He has the Cheka at his disposal, which is considered a property of the Russian government, unlike his personal one, the Killer Whale. Putin has also been linked to the 459-foot Scheherazade, which cost a whopping $507 million. The yacht is one of the longest yachts in the world. She is said to be in the name of oil and gas billionaire Edward Kudenatov, but it's believed to be a front and belong to the president. The yacht features a gym deck, and gold-plated bathroom fixtures. The yacht comprises 6 levels. The main deck contains 6 guest cabins, a grand dining room, and a spa that has a Turkish bath, a sauna, a cryotherapy chamber, and a hydro massage room. The upper deck has 2 VIP suites, one of which includes a piano player. The owner's deck has his and hers suites with separate bathrooms, walk-in closets, study areas, and dressing rooms. There are a total of 22 cabins, capable of accommodating 40 guests and a total crew of 94. Although it does have an indoor swimming pool with a retractable floor that can be used as a dance floor. That sounds familiar, right? There are no outdoor swimming pools, which are typically found on yachts of this size, and were reportedly excluded for privacy reasons. Although she didn't go home with the award, she was nominated for the Yacht of the Year at the World Yacht Trophies in 2020. He has also been linked to the $22 million 187-foot Olympia. The yacht can accommodate 10 guests in her 5 cabins, comprising 1 master, 3 doubles, and 1 twin. Also, it has the capacity to accommodate a crew of 16 people. Other parts of the yacht have been furnished elegantly. The $17 million 151-foot Celeste has also been linked to him. In the world rankings for largest yachts, the super yacht Celeste is listed at number 1,382. The yacht has 6 staterooms that are nicely furnished with exquisite furniture. It also has a luxurious main saloon and a swimming pool. Every corner you turn on this yacht has been tailored to provide comfort for her guests. From the comfortable leather chairs to the nicely equipped bathrooms, everything just has a touch of class to it. The yacht has a jacuzzi beside one of its many dining rooms at the top. And lastly, among his many yachts is the 105-foot Nega. It may be accommodated in 5 suites on the super yacht without discomfort. The 5 suites include 1 master, 3 doubles, and one twin. She is also capable of carrying up to 5 crew members on board to ensure a relaxed luxury yacht experience. According to Vessel's Value, his fleet of yachts is said to be worth at least $680 million. His mode of transportation on water is not limited to yachts. There are other assets of the Presidential Affairs Administration that he has access to. This includes 2 boats, 3 ships, and 1 sailing catamaran. Even if he has to go underwater, he is covered, as he has access to a bathyscaphe that belongs to the Russian Geographical Society. He has been seen using one of the miniature submarines before on a visit to 83 meters underwater to see the shipwreck of a sunken Byzantine ship in the Black Sea. Despite all the security enhancements that have been placed in his automobiles, vessels, etc., it will be surprising that there are more measures that are being used to keep the president safe. Well, if you are the president, there is no such thing as too much security. For his trips within the country, he uses some of the options of transportation we have already talked about. But let's delve in to see how he maneuvers his way within the country without compromising on his safety and comfort. Armored train. I'm sure you are wondering why someone who has no shortage of vehicles, helicopters, and the like would settle for a train. There is just one answer: security. The Russian dictator started using the train on a regular basis in the second half of 2021, when the Russian army started preparing to invade Ukraine. The train was originally given the go-ahead by the Russian president back in 2014-2015. The company that owns the train belongs to Yuri Kovalchuk's nephew. Kovalchuk is a close friend of the Russian president and the largest shareholder of Rossiya Bank. His organizations are in charge of Putin's palace in the vicinity of Gelensek. The Russian president has been extra conscious of his safety since the outbreak of the war, and he hasn't taken any chances at all. Before now, maybe his bulletproof and bomb-proof cars and jets would have sufficed, but now the stakes are much higher. I mean, an aircraft can still be shot to the ground. So when he is en route within his country, he mostly uses his bulletproof train. The bulletproof train has advanced communication technology that allows him to stay in touch with his armed forces. The train has been said to be built to accommodate amenities that give him comfort. Among them are a car that has a private bedroom for his naps, another car that has some sort of conference room that accommodates him and his guests when there is a need to have meetings. Not just that, it has a car for accompanying personnel and a car for special communications, so he can enjoy seamless communication with those in the outside world. The exterior of the train is said to be similar to a regular train, as it is painted in red and gray as well. Even though it is said to be similar to regular trains, it still has some distinctive features. The axles, for one, are said to be 6 instead of the regular 4, and there are several locomotives instead of just one. The price of one locomotive can go as high as $6 million. Well, no amount is too much for his safety. The train also has special equipment placed on the roof, which is some sort of communication radio antenna. The antennas have special covers to hide them from prying eyes. The train is very convenient for him because all of his residences are linked by railway lines, and 2 of his residences, which he regularly goes to, are located on the Black Sea coast. The Black Sea coast area has been a no-go area for flights for a while due to the ongoing war. Stations have also been built to cut down on his flying time. Many of the train stations that were constructed were done in secret, as the main aim was to provide the president with ultimate security. Sources also claim that there is a guarded railway station that has a helicopter landing pad not far from Putin's house in Valde. The secret railway is said to have been built in 2019, and another special railway platform was also built in 2016. This special railway that is close to his residence in the Black Sea resort is said to be separated from other railway tracks by a high fence. One of the reasons he is sticking to his train more is because of its enhanced security offerings. The train has been modified and is now equipped with extra security, which makes it difficult to track a train because there are no services for tracking passenger trains in real time. The speed of the armored train has also been modified. Unlike other trains, this train goes at a very high speed, without unnecessary stops. With all the modifications and amenities this train offers, it is not surprising that it cost a whopping $13.5 million. When he is not en route on his train, he is likely going to be using any of his luxurious cars, but most likely the Arus Senat, and also because of who he is, he has a special road that has been dedicated for his movement, because you see, Moscow can be a very busy place, and in order for him to not be stuck in gridlock, it was created. The road, which is known as the Special Highway, links the Kremlin with President Vladimir V. Putin's residence in the Pine Woods, 14 miles outside of Moscow, which is convenient for him, of course. However, there is another noteworthy aspect of the road that passes through Kutuzovsky and Novy Arbat avenues. This multiple-lane highway in Russia is unlike most others, in that it lacks safety barriers to separate traffic lanes and deter pedestrians from using the road. Although the armored train isn't something every leader is familiar with, he won't be the first president to use it. The North Korean president also uses rail as his major means of transportation. The use of trains by Russian presidents dates back many years. During the Russian Civil War, communist leader Leon Trotsky traveled in an armored train with a telegraph, library, and printing press. He is probably following in their footsteps. Protective measures. Other than his armored train, automobiles, aircraft, and the like, Putin still goes the extra mile to make sure his safety is assured. The Russian president is said to protect himself from would-be assassins and coup plotters using a variety of methods, including bodyguards with bulletproof briefcases and powerful pistols, look-alike stand-ins, and even food tasters. The president appears to be obsessed with both his security and his health, protecting himself from assassins and avoiding COVID-19 at all costs, as evidenced by the lengths he has gone to. He is surrounded by specially selected bodyguards who call themselves his musketeers. The musketeers are a unique division of the Federal Protective Service of Russia, also known as the FSO, which dates back to 1881. Putin's bodyguards are hand-selected for traits like operational psychology, physical toughness, and the capacity to endure cold and not perspire in hot conditions. They are said to carry 9mm SR-1 Vector pistols, made in Russia, that are loaded with bullets that can penetrate armor, as well as specialized briefcases that protect Putin. Since beginning his invasion of Ukraine, Putin has been careful when traveling abroad. Iran was the only country he ever traveled to outside the Commonwealth of Independent States, a post-Soviet Union. But the Russian leader had already curtailed his travels before the invasion, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic. Since the pandemic, he has only made one trip to the West, to Geneva in 2021, where he met with Joe Biden, the President of the United States. But when he is set to leave the country for a meeting or any trip, advance teams are sent out months ahead of his visit to scout his destination. When checking out the place, they are checking how the public will likely respond to the visit and if the area will be affected by bad weather or natural disasters. After an inspection, technicians install jamming equipment to stop bombs from being detonated remotely and monitor nearby cell phones and other electronic devices. Talk about being proactive. When he is traveling via land, he travels through a convoy of heavily armored vans with military special operators inside, carrying AK-47s, anti-tank grenade launchers, and carry-on anti-aircraft missiles. His personal bodyguards are the first line of defense when he enters the public, followed by others who are camouflaged in the crowd, more guards who are ringing the perimeter, and snipers perched on nearby rooftops. 4 rings of security also surround him whenever he leaves the house. The bodyguards stay guarded even when a threat can't be perceived yet. In 2018, there was a famous video of one of Putin's bodyguards stepping in to stop Conor McGregor from putting his arm around Putin's shoulders as they posed for photographs at the World Cup soccer tournament in Moscow. The fighter quickly adjusted and posed, folding his hands. The FSO is said to have extensive power to conduct operations and investigations, including electronic eavesdropping, mail opening, home searches, vehicle seizures, and detaining and questioning suspects. With all these job specifications, for his bodyguards there is a silver lining after all. His bodyguards go from being bodyguards to being rewarded with powerful new posts, such as regional governors, federal ministers, special services commanders, and presidential administrators. This leveling up happens when a bodyguard is replaced upon turning 35, which is the highest age anyone can attain as a bodyguard. An ex-security personnel of Putin also revealed some of the great lengths to which he goes to be secured. The president has been said to be living in a bubble. He literally has his own village that is secured for him and his loved ones. The village has its firefighters, food testers, and other engineers who travel with Putin on his trips abroad. He also revealed that Putin relies heavily on reports provided by his security services for information, as he did not use a mobile phone or the internet. Karakulov said he only receives information from his closest circle, which means that he lives in an information vacuum. Furthermore, he revealed that Putin maintained identical offices in St. Petersburg, Sochi, and Novo-Ogaryevo, and that the secret services staged motorcades and decoy aircraft to make it appear as though he was departing. He said that all this is a ruse to confuse foreign intelligence in the first place, and secondly, to prevent any attempts on his life. According to the founder of the Club de Chefs, a culinary organization whose members cook for heads of state and monarchs around the world, Putin also has someone sample every meal he is served, to make sure he is not being poisoned. In the words of Gilles Bragard, in an interview with The Telegraph in 2012, tasters still exist, but only in the Kremlin, where a doctor checks every dish with the chef. Apart from all this, there have been rumors that the FSO sometimes employed a presidential body double to ensure the safety of Putin, or, quote, body number one. That is all for now, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I did. There is more where this video came from. All you have to do is click a card on the screen, sit back, and enjoy.